Huh? My name is Roman Reigns. I was in the Shield. People say I suck, but I don't suck. You believe that? What's my other catchphrase? I think it's I can and I will. Rock's my cousin, you know that? I'm gonna go eat some cookies now. Believe that. Well, that was weird. Hello YouTube, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. It's Sunday night. You know what that means? Time for a little pay-per-view wrestling. Tonight, it's WWE presents Extreme Rules. It's like a regular pay-per-view. Only Extreme Rules. So yes, tonight is the night where the WWE gets extreme. And of course, I had to get a little extreme myself. Angry Orchard. Good stuff. So anyway, before tonight's event begins, WWE.com broke the story that incumbent Intercontinental Champion Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion during the European tour, and as such has not been cleared for active wrestling duty. So he will not be wrestling tonight. So that leaves no Intercontinental title match between him and Bad News Barrett. So Barrett was forced to wrestle in the pre-show. His opponent, the man that gravity forgot, Mr. Adrian Neville, or Neville for short. This was a pretty solid and good opening match for the pre-show. Neville was very over with the Chicago crowd. The Chicago crowd has always been very, very marky as far as crowds go. I mean, it is the second city, and it is the home of one Mr. Philip Jack Brooks. So there's that. The match is a very good back and forth match. The end comes when there's a little sequence between Barrett using the bull hammer, but Neville dodges it and lands the red arrow. So yeah, we got it. So Neville wins his first pay-per-view match ever, even though it was on the pre-show, but still. The show proper begins. Well, before that, and earlier in the pre-show, the panel was crashed by one Mr. Titty Master, Dean Ambrose, who says as soon as this event starts, he's gonna fucking start killing folks. And he also wanted to make sure that Byron Saxton stayed the hell away from his woman. Yeah. See Renee Young? You see her? Those are Dean Ambrose's titties. Those are his, the master. But anyway, Extreme Rules. First matchup. Or better yet, let me do this better. Dean fucking Ambrose versus Brody. Oof. Sorry. There's a bug in here. Kind of got in my peripheral. But anyway. Dean fucking Ambrose versus Big Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper, in a Chicago street fight. I expected this match to be utterly fucking insane. And it was. I mean, come on. Dean Ambrose matches are always insane, always extreme, and always completely out of control. You never know what to expect when you're in when you see a Dean Ambrose match. And this one did not disappoint. The two of them beat the shit out of each other with pretty much everything under the sun. Then they fought their way backstage, and Harper got control of an SUV, and Dean jumped in after him, and they drove out of the arena. That's never really happened before. Although, because it's a street fight, even though they left the arena, it technically still was going on. There's no disqualification and no count out, so it kept going. We just didn't see. while they're beating the shit out of each other, we go to our first ever Kiss Me Arse match between the Celtic Warrior Sheamus and the show-off Dolph Ziggler. This was a fantastic matchup, a very clash of styles between Ziggler's technical counter-offense against Sheamus's brawly brawl style. It was a nice back and forth. Ziggler got the hell beaten out of him. He has welts all over his body. They did not let up on each other for this one. But in the end, it was Dolph Ziggler pulling out the surprise win. So Sheamus had to kiss his arse. And surprisingly enough, the Chicago fans were up for it. I mean, they were really high on it. They were chanting "pucker up," and Sheamus was gonna kiss Dolph Ziggler's rather shiny, rounded ass until he gave him a nice little low blow before making Ziggler kiss his own white pasty ass. So yeah, Ziggler wins, but he gets humiliated. Next up, the WWE Tag Team titles were on the line. This was originally supposed to be on the pre-show, but of course you know, things happened. The New Day, represented by Kofi Kingston and Big E, take on the champions Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, aka the Masters of the Universe, aka the Galaxy Rangers. That's what I like to call them. This was another fantastic tag match. Everyone may not like the New Day, but you can't deny that there are some talented motherfuckers. Kofi and Big E make a gel very well together, and the tag champs have found their stride. This was a nice back and forth matchup with their contrasting skills, and of course we had some very good spots with Cesaro, all but plucking Big E out of the air, showing off why he's so fucking strong. But in the end, after some shenanigans, the New Day sucks, wins the titles. That's right. Even though I'm not a big fan of those, I'm seeing that they're embracing their heel personas more. I mean, people hate them now because they were faces, so that was a problem. But now they're embracing their heels tactics more. I can get behind this. So, yeah, hopefully the more they embrace their heelness and act more heelish, the better. So they're backstage celebrating their victory, and then when the SUV comes back, and Harper falls out of the car, and Dean jumps off the top of the car onto Harper and the New Day. Yay! And the match continues. And because the match technically did not end, this was perhaps the longest street fight in the history of the WWE. 1 hour. The match never ended, even though they didn't see them wrestling around. It would have been cool to see them wrestle around locations in Chicago. I said on Facebook, if they somehow found their way to C2E2, that's the Comic Con the comic convention that they have that's going on right now. That would have been awesome. But anyway, they found their way back to the ring. Lots of chairs get thrown into the mix. And needless to say, Dean Ambrose won. His pay-per-view losing streak has ended. Good job, Teddy Master. Next up, for the WWE United States title, it will be the champion John Cena defending against the former champion Rusev in a Russian chain match. A Russian chain match is pretty much an equivalent of a strap match. Not a yappa pie strap match. That would be violent and brutal, and you are disgusting for even suggesting such a thing. This was a pretty good match. Cena and Rusev continue to have great chemistry in the ring. The chain effectively makes for some interesting storytelling. The fans cheered for Lana, but Rusev threw her out, much to the fans' chagrin. And it came to a point where, for those of you who are not unaware of what a Russian chain match is, aka a strap match is, both competitors will be attached to the wrist by a long chain. There's no pinfalls or submissions. The only way to win is to hit all 4 corners of the ring in succession without any interruptions. So, and they of course they have special lights on it to show who touched what where. So, in the end, I like how the ending happened. They both were able to touch 3 corners of the ring, and the last corner that they both need to touch was the same one. And there was a moment where they looked at each other like, They went at each other. Cena, of course, hits the AA and picks up the win. Backstage, Rusev sends Lana to the Authority, most likely to beg for yet another match. This immediately segues into segues into the Divas title match. Nikki Bella defends against Naomi, who has a better theme song than that Funkadactyl shit, but she's wearing some fucking light-up shoes. I was ready to hate this match. I was primed and ready to unleash my venom upon this match because I don't like the Bellas and I'm not a big fan of Naomi. But honestly, this was a good match. Better than it had a right to be. It was well wrestled, well executed. Naomi pulled off some very impressive moves, none of which were the rear view. She attempted it, but she didn't land it, which makes me like this match even more because I fucking hate the rear view. Any one of those moves she pulled out could have been an acceptable finisher for her. The end finish comes when Naomi eats a kick from Brie, who she kicked earlier in the match, and Nikki hits the her torture rack move, whatever you want to call it, and she retains. This is going to be rare for me to say, but this was a great Divas match on the main roster by two women, neither of whom are named AJ or Paige, and two of whom I have no high opinion of. This has been a good pay-per-view so far. Next matchup. Roman Reigns, for the 3,867th time, Roman Reigns versus The Big Show in a last man standing match. Like the previous match, I was all ready and set to hate the shit out of this. This was a damn good match. My friend Griffoon on CBR forums says that this could be match of the night. And I'm inclined to agree. This is the kind of match that Roman Reigns really needed. And I think I know why this match was so good. Because whenever Big Show and Roman Reigns try to wrestle each other, it comes off as boring and unimpressive because they both have such limited moves. And they both have similar finishers, a spear and a punch. This one wasn't them trying to wrestle each other. This was just a fight. And it actually had a little bit of good psychology in it, with the Big Show actually putting tables back under the ring because he didn't need any weapons to win. Anytime he had a weapon, like a kendo stick, he would destroy it and just say, "I'm a giant," because he doesn't need weapons to win because he is a weapon. And Roman Reigns needed every weapon in the entire scorecard just to be able to hurt the big guy. And he took a lot of heavy-ass spots, went through a couple of tables, ate a lot of kendo stick shots, a couple of knockout punches, and he just kept getting back up. And you could feel how tired he must have looked because he just looked like a wreck. Like he was barely able to pull himself up. And I could tell you all the cool spots in this match, but it's better that you just watch it yourself. The end comes when the Big Show attempts to choke slam Roman Reigns off the announcer's table and through another announcer's table, but Roman fights back. I think he either punches or Superman punches him out of it, and Big Show had set up the stairs near the table. So Roman jumped off the table, did his ooh-ah, he's going to spear him, runs up the steps across the table and spears Big Show through the Spanish announce table. Cool spot. So when Big Show still keeps getting up, Roman decides to just flip over the regular announce table and bury and pin the Big Show down, and count of 10, Roman Reigns is the last man standing. This is how you book Roman Reigns. He doesn't need to be a wrestling machine. He just needs to be a kick-ass beater of ass who can take everything you can dish out and keep coming back until you beat him. This is how you push Roman Reigns, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for you, Roman Reigns. Next up, this is a sort of the first real legit piss break, I can say. Bo Dallas comes out and insults the crowd. Then Ryback comes out and kills him. This is just a breather so they can set things up for the main event. Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, steel cage match for the World Heavyweight title. Oh, condition: Randy Orton cannot use the RKO. Now, regardless of how and also Director of Operations Kane will be serving as gatekeeper or cage master or strap master. That's for Jimmy Hart. Yeah. Why do I have the Apple Pie Indian strap match on the brain? But anyway, this was an excellent match. Very interesting psychology. But these two have always put on great matches, and this was no exception. They had an awesome match at WrestleMania. They had an awesome match here with Seth always being the skilled but cowardly champion, and Randy being the sadistic troller that he is. We had some pretty interesting spots. J&J Security, of course, got involved. They tried to get Kane involved, but Kane wasn't having that shit. So at one point, Randy has Seth down, and it looks like he's going through the motions of going for an RKO, but he knows RKO is banned. So he does the next best thing. He pedigrees that motherfucker. But he kicks out, but then he decides, you know what? I think it's time for the 2-point conversion. The punt. He doesn't land it, of course, and of course we know that the curb stomp is banned because WWE are idiots like that. The finish comes. It's a very hyped finish. They're both men are down. Then J&J Security and Kane get into the ring, and J&J are telling him to attack Randy, and Kane's not having it, and he choke slams both of them. Then he looks like he's going after Seth, but he choke slams Randy, and it looks like Seth is trying to get out of the cage, but Kane grabs him, then choke slams him, and reluctantly tosses him over Randy for the pin. But Randy kicks out, and Kane doesn't know what to do, so he figures he might as well tombstone that motherfucker. So he tries to tombstone Randy. Randy RKOs him. Remember, it's only illegal against Seth. Then Seth shows us why he is called the Architect and why he's a smart bastard. After Randy RKOs Kane, Seth RKOs Randy Orton, and he escapes the ring 1, 2, 3, and the announcers are going crazy, and it would rightfully so. It's a bit confusing, but one can argue that Seth said that Randy was banned from using the RKO, but never said that the move itself was banned from him using it, or from Seth using it himself. One can interpret the rules like that. It can be confusing, but WWE stipulations tend to be confusing. But anyway, that was Extreme Rules. My verdict: this was better than WrestleMania. I can honestly say this is bar none the best pay-per-view the WWE has put on all year. I say this because there was not a weak match on this card. There was not anything, none of the matches pissed me off to a legit extent. They were all from good to great to awesome. They were all solid matches. Even the Divas match, which surprises even me to hear that come out of my mouth. A Divas match being great. This was a great pay-per-view. It was awesomely booked. All the matches played to the strength of the wrestlers itself so that they can all get the best out of it. I can't really pick a favorite match out of this, so I'm just going to say I love the whole fucking pay-per-view. This is up there with Wrestle Kingdom 9 as being my favorite pay-per-view of the year. This is up there with Wrestle Kingdom 9. That's not easy. I can't believe I'm saying this. The WWE actually pulled off a great pay-per-view where all the matches were good Very little backstage bullshit. Very few promos. The only thing that I didn't really... The weakest part was that whole Bo Dallas Ryback thing, but that was just a breather match, so I can forgive it. But overall, I was going to skip this. I'm glad I didn't. So, those are my thoughts with for Extreme Rules. Like what you see? Link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions or comments? Leave them below. I'll get back to each and every one of you. Support the channel by clicking on an advertisement. Doesn't take that much, and that doesn't take that much time out of your day. Just click an advertisement. It helps with the bills and what have you. And also, leave a little change in the tip jar. So, until next time, Shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good night, and I'm glad I didn't miss this.